KNOC Radio. It is the Hard Rockology Show with Chris and Matt and producer Jason. That was a song called Alliance by a local band out of L.A. called Lit Soul. And that brings us to our second interview of the night with Rob Chevelle, vocalist and guitar player for the band. Rob, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Thank you.
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you, Chris and Matt.
No worries, man. That's what we're here for. So, first off, I just wanted to ask you really quick, how was the Sunset Music Festival? Because I know you played there on Saturday, right?
Yes, we did. We played the Key Club. Just talk about just mayhem, tons of people, just, total huge rock and roll party, tons of bands. It was just one of those, it was really, really cool. I'm really glad we got a chance to do that.
What place did you play at on the Strip?
The Key Club.
Oh, the Key Club? The Key Club.
Yeah, the Key Club, yeah. We weren't out on the street. We were in the Key Club, yeah.
Nice. That's a good venue.
Yeah, it is.
So you have a new lineup now. You had an original lineup, and looks like you cleaned house somewhat, so to speak, I guess, and it's called Mark II lineup. Tell us about the new members of the band.
Sure, man. Yeah, pretty excited about these guys. They bring, more oomph, more metal, if you will, to the mix. A lot of the songs were played before in Mach 1, and but on lead guitar we have Joe Dagulis, just a shredder. He's got all the hooks, and he plays a kick-ass flying V, and he's got excellent equipment. And Brian Sowers, he plays drums, double kicks, and not every song, but he definitely lays those in, and just great timing. And Joe Petro on bass, and he's been playing a long time, and these players are just really good. I'm really happy to play with them, and it's more like a band. It's more like a game. Mach 1 was more. I mean, frankly, there were a couple of them were hired guns, and there's certain things, but definitely playing with friends who are just excellent. They're all into the music is very, very cool, and it's real happy about that. I actually want to make an announcement real quick. We actually have another bass player because Joe Petro. He's played with us for a while now, but he's going off with Metallica and doing some other stuff. He does artwork for Kirk Hammett, and it's a great opportunity for him. So, he's still in Lit Soul, but he might not be able to play every show. So we have Jerome Severin, who's playing bass now. Actually, his first gig will be at Palladino's next week. So he's working out great, and we're really excited about that.
Just a real quick question, because I noticed this. I'm sure my brother noticed this as well, in regards to the way you put your lineups in there, Mark 1, Mark 2. Deep Purple fan by chance?
Totally. That's where I got it from, yeah. Mark 1, Mark 2. I was even talking to my girlfriend, okay, is that Mach 1? Like the Mach 5? I had to actually go to the dictionary, Mark 1, Mark 2. But definitely major Deep Purple fan. Maybe not as much as my brother, but definitely I love Purple.
So what Purple lineup is your favorite? Or shall I say, sorry about that, what Mark lineup is your favorite?
Yeah, what is it, Mark II, like Made in Japan, Ian Gillan, you know what I mean? I think that's what I'm really into. But, all of them were good, and as they went on, I think Richie got a little more poppy and stuff, but I think that lineup, basically Made in Japan, was just outrageous.
Yeah, great live album.
Yeah, so it looks like I'll be hanging out with Rob listening to Deep Purple, and you could be listening to Mark III with
Mark III and Mark IV.
Yeah.
Well, but like Rob just said, they're all great, so you really can't argue with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
All right, but back to Lit Soul, Rob. I was looking over you. Not only are you the lead singer and also guitar player, but pretty much Lit Soul is your baby, pretty much. You pretty much write a lot of the music, and in some cases play all the instruments on some of your previous albums. And it seems to be that this is maybe more of a passion for you to get your message out and stuff like that. Is that the case? Is Lit Soul your little project, your little baby that you're bringing out there for everybody to listen to?
Well, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It's just, I've played in other bands. I actually started off as a drummer, and rhythm guitar and vocals, and always loved music. It's like the biggest part of my life. And one time I just kind of, like a lot of people, I guess, I just kind of had a vision and just want to do my own thing. So I made I collaborated with some other guys. There's an album called Lit Soul 7 Worlds. You can see that on CD Baby. And that was a collaboration, a lot of guys, different songs. It's kind of a bit of a Frankenstein, and actually did a poetry album, with music. That's all, I'm a poet and just a lot of stuff. And then I wrote these songs for Libertine Dream. And all my music, my vision, my artwork, my photography, my lyrics, my design, everything. But, you know, today with this band, I really want to make a point that even when these guys agreed to play with me, it's like, you know, I might have the final decision, but everybody has a spoken word in it. You know, it's definitely not a Hitler type of thing. You know, it's like, you know, they brought some great stuff to the table. So to answer your question, I mean, it's always been my passion. If you go to litsoul.com, I mean, there's short stories, there's paintings, there's photographies, there's political stuff, there's, you know, just a lot of the stuff. I mean, the name Lit Soul, when I came up with it, I just wrote a bunch of words, stuff on a piece of paper one night, sitting on my couch drinking some wine or something, and I got down to about 5 really cool things, and then it just kept going back to Lit Soul, and to me it just means you know, soul on fire. It means somebody who tries to make a difference, somebody who you know, speaks out, doesn't just go along with maybe, you know, what the status quo is, you know?
Exactly. I mean, and I've noticed that there's a lot of references to Jim Morrison and the Doors and your style, the poetry and the lyrics, and your delivery very reminiscent of that, as well as the Cult as well. And that's what I get kind of out of it when I listened, especially to the last album, Libertine Dream. I get a lot of the Cult with the Doors type of feel to it. With
well, like I was going to say, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the poetry record that you put out in 2005 reminds me of the American Prayer by Jim Morrison. Was that your intention for that one?
Oh, wow. Thank you. No, I mean, you know, there's no real rules to poetry. It's just, you know, I wrote a lot of that stuff in hotel rooms at Barney's Beanery. I am, you know, a big Jim Morrison fan. I love the Cult. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, like, you get bands like the Cult, the Doors, Danzig. I mean, it's just kind of like, it's almost like a family. It's like a typical or a certain type of music, and then a certain vocal part of it. But I think a lot of the lyrics are a lot of paintings, and, you know, it's just a lot of stuff to move you and maybe to get you to think, you know. But I don't know. It's just part of me, and, you know, it's a compliment. But, you know, even to this day, I try to get away from that. I want Lit Soul to be different, but it is flattering that you guys saw that in there, and that's cool.
Well, it's not like it's like when we're listening to Lit Soul, it doesn't sound like the Doors, Danzig, or the Cult. It's just like you said, lyric wise and everything. Yeah. It's very, very similar. But I don't really find your voice to be that similar to the other guys. It's kind of unique in a way that it is right now, and especially on the a couple of the newer songs.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you is, I mean, putting this together. I mean, I'm assuming because you're writing the songs and such. Are you doing I mean, is it the words coming first and then everything coming second, or how exactly do you put these songs together?
Yeah, I think normally it's probably sitting on my couch with an acoustic guitar and playing chords acoustically, and then transferring that over to, you know, bar chords per se on electric guitar, and then, you know, probably coming up with the music first, and then I put melody, and then I put lyrics to it. But, you know, a lot of times I have volumes of poetry. I mean, I could probably do a whole other poetry album now, too, but I just not really on the agenda at the moment. But, you know, to answer your question, I think it's mainly probably the guitar first, and then melody, and then lyrics.
Okay. Like in the first song that we played, Alliance, you have Chris Holmes playing guitar on that particular song? How did that come about?
Yeah, not the whole song, but at the end, you know, just call it an outro. It's pretty much the explosion on the end, and it's kind of like the wailing guitars. You can see a definite change in the style of guitars from the other guitar player. The lead guitar player in the first part of the song is Elliot Baldwin, who was in Mach 1, and then Chris Holmes later. And that basically, I've known Chris through some years in Hollywood, and he's just an icon, and he's just awesome, and incredible guitar player, extremely nice guy, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I saw him one night at a club, and again, you know, after maybe some time goes by, and we were just talking, and I just said, hey, you know, I'm writing this album, and I got this song, and I really hear, you know, you playing on it, would you mind? And he said, sure, like immediately. There was no, like, lag. And he actually drove me home that night, and we went into my house, and I played him something, but I kind of knew, like, you know what, that might not be it. So that night I kind of said, you know, that's really cool, but I think I might have another song, and that's when I just started writing Alliance. I think I only had, like, 1 or 2 things in it. And then, I don't know, some chord changes, and then later I just called him up and said, hey, remember that? can I come on over and play for you? And he said, sure. So I went over to his studio, played it for him, and not the whole song. I said, let's just do the outro. And in my head, I hope I'm not giving too much away here, but there's a song by Wasp called Sleep in the Fire.
Okay.
And just, if you listen to the outro lead on that and the key that he's in, it's very emotional, and it's like if you look at the live album of Wasp on when they played the Key Club, I think it was around 2000 or something like that. It's just an awesome performance. I think it was his last gig with them, actually. And but anyways, I said, how about, he goes, what do you want? And I go, well, how about something like that, you know? And he goes, sure. He did 2 takes, and we took the second take that he did, and it just nailed it.
All right, and one other thing I want to ask you, too, because we're going to be playing this track in a couple minutes, In the Eyes of America. Great song. What's that track about? What are you trying to say in that particular track? Because it's a pretty powerful track if you really listen to the lyrics and such.
Thank you. And if you go to YouTube, it's our really only, semi-professional video at this point, but you can actually see a lot of visuals to that song, too. But basically, that's kind of an opener we have right now. It's just really everybody seems to really dig it. And it's a political song, if you watch the video, too. Political meaning, it's like, to me, rock and roll has always been, F the man, don't always follow authority, question authority, and not necessarily rebellious anarchy way. I'm not talking about that. It's just like there's so much in this world, in this society that are shoved down our throat. And if you say something, it's been surveyed, you say something 3 or 4 times, on the media, on the corporate media, people will believe it. They just believe it. So it's just a thing to wake up, the whole financial crisis, I don't want to say anything that would offend anybody, but it's, I definitely want to have a good time. It's rock and roll. It's everything that is. But to me, in this band and in this music and in my vision, there is a message of freedom and liberty and people waking up. There's other huge bands talking about it. Dave Mustaine, recently he was on Infowars.com, saying stuff about it. And, Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down, Doors way back when, so it's just, I feel like if I'm going to do music, I want to do it to have a great time and have an expression and everything goes with it, but I want to deliver it. So to answer your question, that song is just about liberty, freedom, in the eyes of America, petrified time. It's just kind of a confrontation in a good way of just look at what's really going on, people. Anybody with 2 eyes and any hypnosis can see that there's a lot of stuff happening, and that's not very good, and people got to wake up, like the Constitution, things like that. People just got to remember what this country was founded on, because it will be taken away unless people exercise their rights of freedom.
So does Lit Soul, this is Chris, I had to step away for a minute, but does Lit Soul have any new stuff in the works coming out? Or, because I seen the promotional video you had on your webpage, litsoul.com, but there wasn't any full songs like studio versions. Do you have anything in the works coming out anytime soon?
That's coming up. We'll probably record it at Swing House. It's a really great place in Hollywood. We do have some new songs. The most recent one we've only played, I think, twice live. It's called Leather Steeds. On her leather steed she rides. And it's a really great song, and that's one this band has put all together. There's another song called Stoned. And there's a song called Fight. All those are actually new songs with the new lineup, basically. And, we're writing more. I don't think we have enough to do a whole full-blown album. At this point, we're just trying to play some really good shows, bring the old fans, the new lineup, and get some new fans down there. And, we have some shows coming up, and I'm sure you'll ask me for in a minute. But basically, to answer your question, we're working on it all the time. Yeah,
and that's going to lead into the next question, which I wanted to ask you. Next week you have a big industry showcase at Palladino's. So do you want to talk about that a little bit and let the fans know exactly what's going to be going on and when that show is going to be?
Sure. We were approached, by Rockstar Bookings. And basically, they're asking us, I guess they scouted us and looked at us and stuff like that, and they said, come on down to Palladino's. It's basically a showcase, meaning that, they want to check us out and see if we're material and if we want to open up for big national acts. So it's a really important gig for us. And especially with the Sunset Music Fest, and, before that we did the Venice Beach Festival, and these are really wild shows and not necessarily any sound checks and necessarily the way you want it. So this show is more of a controlled environment, all our own equipment, so it's going to be a kick-ass show. And I really want to invite people to come down because it's a good venue. It's in the Valley. It's called Paladinos. Go to litsoul.com or go on Facebook to Lit Soul Band, and you can see all the details on there as well. You're also welcome to be my friend Rob Chevelle on Facebook. But it's just an opportunity for us to go down there and show what we got and have a great time. We're going to play from 9:30 to 10:15, so it's 45 minutes. And again, that's next Thursday, a week from today, which is the 30th in Paladinos in the Valley.
Great, great. And that brings us to our famous last question of the segment, Spinal Tap moment. I'm sure you've had some.
Oh, wow. Oh, you mean what my favorite part in the movie or
no,
how it relates to me?
Your own personal Spinal Tap moment being a musician or being in a band.
Oh, wow. Wow, okay. That's definitely put me on the spot. But, you always got to go with the first thing that comes up. I don't know why, but, I wrote this song. It's a new song, actually, said a minute ago. It's called Home. It's, the chords. It's a very beautiful song, right? And I played it for some people, and I didn't really have a name yet, right? So, if I was playing the song, basically, and when it's done, they were like, wow, okay, so what's the name of it? And I said, Lick My Love Pump. You know what I'm saying? He was playing the piano,
yeah.
It was all beautiful, and hope that wasn't too much for the radio. Sorry.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's why we asked the question. All right, Rob, great talking to you. I want you to take us out with, I want you to introduce your song In the Eyes of America for us. Or you got another question, Matt?
Just real quick for our listeners out there, definitely give Lit Soul an opportunity next week. Make it out to Paladinos if you can. Support the band. This is a really big thing for Rob. And trust me, we've been to a couple of these things before for other bands, and this is a really big thing. So if you're a big fan of Lit Soul, or if you like what you're hearing,
if you want to hear a great guitar player, great singer, great band, check them out on the webpage. But they're really something to
so definitely,
see pretty soon.
Paladinos next Thursday, August 30th. Get there around 8:30. Get there even earlier. That way you know you're in there, okay? But I want to say, Rob, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, and best of luck to you guys, and good luck with the show next week. So if you want to go ahead and
introduce this song for many listeners.
Thank you.
All right, I'll count you down. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I first want to thank Chris and Matt. Thank you very much. And this song is called In the Eyes of America, Petrified Time, and it's about freedom and liberty. Listen up.